over in Guam one time. So I had to replace the engine. So they gave a man to help me, and he'd come over there by ship. He'd never been on an airplane. And so after we got it running, I checked the engine out. Pilot come out. We was going to take it up and try it out. And I asked him if he would let this boy go because he had never been in an airplane. He said, well, bring him on, which he wasn't supposed to do. We got up and went to feather the engine, which that means you turn the prop straight where it won't turn. Start it back up, and it wouldn't cut off. So Captain thought that it was going to throw the prop off of it. So he told us, get ready to jump out. So I got him ready to jump. We got to the back of the airplane. He'd put a chute on, had never been up in an airplane, and was absolutely scared to death. Finally, the pilot radioed to me by headphones that he got the engine shut off and we was not going to have to jump. We landed, that boy got out, kissed the ground, and said he'd never get on that airplane again. If he had to stay on an island, he'd never get on that airplane.
It's there till.
Okay, tell me about any interesting racing stories that you might have.
What, racing stories?
Yes.
One story, running Carolina Speedway one night, I was leading the race. Larry Wallace was running right behind me. And he was running real close to me. When we come out of the fourth corner, I looked in the mirror, and he was coming end over end down the straightaway. But we all stopped, couldn't figure out why he hit the wall. We got back there, and there was a rabbit. His right front wheel hit that rabbit, and that's all it took to let it slide a little bit into the wall. And that's what caused him wreck, was that rabbit.
Okay, how about
We just scored.
how about any interesting fishing stories? Anything that's happened that's bizarre or worth mentioning?
Well, we had a fish jump in the boat one time. He committed suicide. We was down the river. We put first time we ever had a light out. They just come out with them neon lights. So we lit it up there, and here's one big bass. He just jumped up and jumped in the boat.
Did you eat him?
No, we threw him back. We let him live.
What about the time the boat sunk down there?
Yeah, we sunk a boat down Congaree on the Congaree Watery River one time. Anchored the boat sideways, and the water was real swift. And the front anchor come loose. That put the stern into the swift water, so it filled up with water and it sank. The boat would come up, and I'd grab a hold of it, tie a rope around my hand. He'd go back down, pull me under. I'd done it about 3 times, and I finally figured that wasn't the way to go. So finally another boat came up, and it came up again. I handed him the rope. He tied it to his boat and pulled it to the shore. So we got the boat back, lost all our fishing equipment.
Tell me about the story when you were scuba diving with somebody, I can't remember who it was, and with the bubbles. Remember that?
Oh, we was diving a tunnel or cave down in Florida. And we just got this boy checked out for diving. So went down that cave, and I was the last one in. And I was watching everybody, be sure everybody was going to be all right. And I looked down, he was upside down. He'd be upside down, he'd end up or in. Didn't know what he was doing. So I went down there and talked to him, motioned to him, was he all right? He motioned, he was all right. So that's why we come back out of the cave. I asked him what it was. He says he didn't know which way was up. He didn't know which way was up, which way was down. So I told him all you got to do is watch your air bubbles. When your air bubbles go up, that's up.
Okay, how about the story when you were in the Kawasaki shop and the man that kept falling on the motorcycle? You remember that?
Kept falling on the motorcycle. Well, I've had a lot of people fall on the motorcycle.
Or he fell like a bunch of times.
I don't know, one come in there one day and bought a brand new motorcycle, a 900 Kawasaki. I asked him, let me show you all about the motorcycle. He said, I know all about this thing. I've been riding. I said, all right. He made it 3 miles down the road before he wrecked it, tore it all to pieces. And had to bring it back to us. We completely had to rebuild it. So he didn't get very far.
Is there any other stories that might come to mind that you think pertaining to anything?
Yeah, and alligators on the Wateree River. Just going through there, I had a buddy of mine in the boat. I looked on the edge of the bank, and there was about a 9-10 foot alligator. I told Charlie, I said, I'm gonna run up on top of it. You jump out and get that alligator. So I ran up on the boat, and Charlie wouldn't get out. He said, I ain't getting no alligator. So he wouldn't get out and get the alligator. So it got away.
Are there any other stories from the service that you might have?
No, not really.
What about when you were racing and the guy that ended up going to the hospital? The guy that wouldn't get out of your way?
Well, he wouldn't get out of the way. And so finally I just spun him out where I could go on. Because all he was doing was blocking me. He wasn't that fast. So after the race, he came up to me and wanted to argue about it. And he slapped me. And when he slapped me, I knocked him down into a trailer and got on top of him. Finally let him up. Told him, don't do it no more. He agreed not to do it anymore. So later the next morning, my teammate called me and said he was in the hospital with a brain concussion. That had me scared to death. But he was all right. He ended up all right. He wasn't hurt that bad.
All right. Well, I guess that's about it. Unless there's anything else you want to mention.
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. All right. Well, thank you.